Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video. Let us discuss recent news that Amazon Fire TV has just been announced. It's only going to be $99 US, and not only a game device, but it's also pushing the streaming as well. So I'm going to read out a few of the specifications, certainly not all of them, because as you'd expect there are a bunch, but it's going to be very much what we expected. It's going to be using a CPU which is a Qualcomm Create 300 quad-core 1.7 GHz. Also Qualcomm Adreno 320, 8GB of internal storage, 2GB of LPDDR2 memory. It's running at 533 MHz. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, cloud storage free, by the way, using Amazon's content, by the way. USB 2, Ethernet, all the other good as you'd expect, and of course uses HDMI. In addition to that, their games are going to be ludicrously cheap. We'll get to that in just a moment, however, because rather interestingly, they've also got voice, a microphone on the remote control. And believe it or not, rather cheekily, Amazon said that, and I quote, "This is voice control that actually works." I think you can kind of guess who they're taking digs at there, so I'm not even going to bother to mention. But they are coming in with backing. They've got Take-Two, Mojang, Ubisoft, and there's going to be thousands of games available by the end of next month. Indeed, Minecraft Pocket Edition, Games Loft's Asphalt 8 was shown, there was Monster University, The Walking Dead, 2K's NBA 2K14 as well. And Amazon are already making their own games. There's one known as Sev-Zero, and that's SEV, which is a third-person shooter. This is by the firm's own internal game studios, and we know that Amazon have been snapping up talent rather vigorously of late. Additionally, it also integrates with various streaming services. Obviously, you've got Amazon's own streaming, but you've also got HBO Go, Pandora, and all of the other large popular ones such as Hulu Plus. Additionally, it's going to be Android HTML based, so this means that porting applications and games is not going to be too difficult at all, really. So what exactly is the purpose? Well, there's also an exclusive new feature, by the way, called ASAP, and it predicts what movies and TV episodes you'll want to watch and gets them ready for you streaming. Obviously, how successful that is, well, we'll have to see. As well as a second screen option known as X-Ray, which is supposedly very similar to Smart Glass, which basically allows you to beam your app to like a different device if you've left your TV. Now here's the thing. Amazon is stating that games consoles are too expensive, the PS4, Xbox One, and they are basically creating a cheap alternative. I would like to point a few things out, however. The first one is that this is very early for Amazon. Now, they've got a lot of technical clout, but it doesn't really mean that they're ever going to take the console industry more seriously than what they already are. But who knows? Maybe they're using this as a test and saying, well, you know what, if this does well and games are rather well received, it's a fairly cheap way for them to get into the market. It's not a huge upfront cost compared to, say, developing the system if it had been significantly more powerful, say a threat. Performance-wise, of course, to the PS4 and the Xbox One. It's also important to remember that the PS4 and Xbox One right now, compared to like a high-spec PC, aren't that impressive, but for consoles they are. But in 2 or 3 years' time, let's say that if they were to release like the Amazon Fire TV 2, just for example throwing out an idea, by this point the specs would be so easy to mirror on a new console using Android type of system. They would maybe not be able to get exactly, one-for-one ratio, but for like $100, $200, they could certainly come pretty damn close, and that's something certainly they're going to think of. And obviously they're also trying to most likely figure out their own internal structures. What's the best way for us to create games? How can we best support it? What studios want to work with us? Creating the relations, maybe figuring out online systems. There's a lot of different things that go into this, and Amazon right now are an absolute force in the industry. Seriously, think back several years ago when, well, maybe not several, a bit longer than that, but when they really started to start pushing forward, and you saw them pretty much as oh, okay, they sell books, whoop-de-doo. You know, there were so many different online retailers at the time, and I didn't really used to use Amazon. I was like, books, eh. I used to prefer to go to the actual bookstore, call me old-fashioned, but I just went down to the bookstore or just ordered ones that I couldn't find from there. From other different websites, I didn't really use Amazon that much, personally. Now, they are well known in the cloud industry, of course. They were one of the first and most prolific to really start pushing the cloud computing. They have, of course, a huge online presence. They've got distribution, they've got software manufacturing, they've been snapping up various people in the industry, and we've known that something like this is going to be coming. It was just inevitable. You know, there were so many leaks and rumors. Once again, this isn't necessarily to say that, you know, Microsoft or Sony have anything to fear yet, but it's obvious that they have got the technical ability to create a rival console. I don't necessarily think, however, it makes sense for them to do so at high spec just yet, so I think this is a great option for them to actually test the water, and for us as customers to get like a cheaper streaming system in the home. Of course, that's just pure speculation on my part. I can't personally say that I'm going to be buying this myself, because I don't really have any rhyme or reason for it. But I'm sure there will be quite a few people who will definitely be interested in this very device. And ironically enough, a lot of the streaming suggestions and the smart glass integration and so on was one of the key factors of the Xbox One. It was one of the things that Microsoft felt was going to help to differentiate itself, to be like the thing that makes it stand out from its rivals. And of course, these guys have come along and released a rather low-powered version of the Xbox One in that same respect. Obviously without Kinect and all the other good stuff you'd expect. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.